partner, Ray Quinlan, is where? Right here, without whom I could not have done this, even though we haven't done anything yet. But I want to thank you all for coming. I think it's a wonderful turnout. Obviously, I'm going to forget to acknowledge people, but certainly I want to mention my team, which is Phil Lougheed, architect, right here with the mustache. And nobody knows, but he has more to do with the saving of Union Station than anybody standing here, including myself. Drove people crazy in those days, but he knew a thing or two, and that's wonderful. The good people from Cutler, they're in a cluster. Where are you? Over here? Thank you very much. And as we go along, we'll meet people from financing. Very quickly, since I have the mic, I assume people are going to say good things about us, so I won't bother. But I do want to just say something about the intention of the project. This was once a great neighborhood, as I can barely remember, but there are a lot of people who do remember. It was all 5-story brick buildings, mixed use, loaded with people, retail everywhere, a market on every corner, people doing commerce, people doing business, people living upstairs. Just a classic, intense, vibrant, European-style mixed-use neighborhood. European style because it was populated by people from Europe. And that lasted all the way up into the 1950s, 1960s, and we all know what happened. Suburbia happened, 290 happened, the Jewish population, which had filled this, prospered and leapfrogged over to the west side, and it fell into decline. And some of us discovered this. There are a lot of people here that I see who have been here longer than I have, doing business, etc. But miraculously enough, we've been watching it come alive. Some of that has to do with the Canal District Alliance, who wove pretty pictures in the air and met with people week after week after week for 15 years and convinced people that there was a vision that something was happening. And what has happened, which has been the toast of Worcester, has all happened because of individual entrepreneurs, individual business people who said, okay, I think I want to be a part of this, and they established places and whatnot. The heroic culmination of that is everything that we see right here with the Crompton building. Dino, where's Dino? Dino LaRusso and his wife Robin, who Dino took the great risk. When I moved in up around the corner, this had been boarded up for 20 years. It's hard to remember, but it's true. I tried to buy it. The owner didn't like me. Hard to believe, but true. He liked Dino. And of course, as soon as Dino bought it, the economy crashed. And you can imagine how hard that's been. And gradually he's fiddled around and got tenants who didn't work and got it figured out. His greatest accomplishment, of course, was finding Amy Chase, who is over there somewhere. Amy? Hey. Who established the Crompton Collective and the Farmers Market. And Rob and Avra, who have Birch Tree Bakery. The point is that, the big secret of retail is it follows population. Well, we had no one living here except a couple of us, Dolly and me. And Dino invented this thing called destination retail, a destination retail cluster, and the rest is history. Everybody in the world wants to come here. It's a wonderful thing. And it has been a thrill to be a part of the neighborhood, to watch things gradually come alive. I look out my window and I kind of say, this is a pile of junk. All I see is a bunch of old buildings. And then I look at old photographs I had from 15 years ago, and that was when it was really a pile of junk. Things have happened so incrementally that you don't even realize it's happening, but it has happened, and it's wonderful. And by the way, we're halfway there. So the intent, and thank you for believing in it or wanting to believe in it, the intent of all of this is to establish a destination retail magnet that simply complements everything that's happening here and gives it a stronger foundation and accelerates it. It's that simple. And then bringing people to live down here, because that is the missing component. So that's what we're trying to do. It's all about and only about creating a district, helping to create a district, that is full of people, that has people on the street, where people want to come, people want to go, people want to live, where young people in our town want to live because they're proud of it and because it gives them everything that they need. I want to say two quick things because they are relevant. We live right up around the corner. I've been watching here. When we moved here, there wasn't too much going on, but I want to mention two things that are relevant. Number one, as a culture, we've forgotten how to live in the cities. Every time I get a new tenant in my building, I literally have to train them how to live in the city. I will catch them getting into their car and driving down to Green Street, which is a block away. They do this. It's unbelievable. And once they learn, get the sense that they're actually living in a district, they love it. They couldn't love it more. We entertained a couple once from Leominster who had been in suburbia all their lives, and they were successful enough to move to the country. And we were having wine in the yard, and then we decided to go to dinner, and we started walking, and the lady said, "What? You can walk to a restaurant?" He said, "Yeah, we can walk to 7 restaurants. We can walk to 10 restaurants." So I think that she thought that eventually they had moved in the wrong direction and they ought to move in this direction. Thing number 2 is simply this. When I did my building, which was 17 years ago, and I remember having an open house, and people would come in and they said, and I learned to hate this, they say, "Oh my God, I can't believe I'm in Worcester. I can't believe I'm in Worcester. Oh, this is unbelievable. I can't believe that I'm in Worcester." Well, we better start believing it. We're going to create a world-class district here, so get used to it. We're going to, this is Worcester, get used to it. It's a golden age. First up on the list, I want to introduce Karyn Polito, whom everybody knows. I just want to say this is a wonderful tradition, I believe, started by Tim Murray, where we have a lieutenant district from central Massachusetts. It's an unbelievable asset. She's been a great fan of the project, partly because she shops at the Crompton Collective, and she drinks coffee at Birch Tree Bakery, and she lives right across the lake in Shrewsbury. The tragedy of Shrewsbury is people move there and they're afraid to come into Worcester. They're afraid to cross the lake. Karyn is not afraid to cross the lake. Karyn, thank you.
Good morning. What a very special moment this is, and a milestone moment for all of us. I want to acknowledge Tim Murray for being here, and also Ed Augustus, who you'll hear from. Want to recognize Commissioner John LeBeau from Shrewsbury, but loves the heart of our Commonwealth. He's happy to be here to celebrate the public market that will soon be here. And Commissioner Janelle Chan from DHCD is also with us. And you'll also hear from Secretary Jay Ash in just a few moments. So this is an incredible story. So it starts, first of all, with a leadership team, people. Allen being one of them. Bobby Largess, who's maybe coming on over soon. Eddie Russo, to name a few. Dino. People of this community, of this neighborhood, who care about this neighborhood, who care about this place. I've had the opportunity now to travel to every city and town of this Commonwealth, all 351 communities. And when I visit communities, I want to meet with the people who wake up in that community, who care about the community, have a plan and a vision for that community, because we in state government want to figure out how we can support them, how we can invest and partner with them to make their dream and their plan become reality. Here in this neighborhood, you have that leadership team. You have the people literally who wake up here, care about this neighborhood, have put a plan together for this neighborhood, believed in this plan, were determined to make sure that this plan would become a reality. Without the leadership team and the plan, you have nothing. So we have enormous gratitude for the early team that emerged to make this happen. I want to thank you all very much, and everyone join me in thanking Allen and his friends for making this happen. The second, I want to thank Allen for inviting me to lunch a few years ago to the Mount Vernon. And we had a neighborhood meeting, and we had American chop suey, I remember that. You cooked me a great meal. And you laid out your plans, and I was so convinced, not so much by the plans, but by your passion and your commitment, that we needed to work with you to help you make this happen. And that's when I called Secretary Jay Ash, who's a student of Clark University, so he's familiar with Worcester and loves Worcester. I said, take a walk down Canal Street, in the Canal District. Take a walk around and really feel what's happening there. He came back to the office and he said, wow, this is amazing what's happening in the Canal District. This is a place worth partnering in and investing in. So when you called not too long ago and said we need a little bit of help with your tax credits, I said we can help. This is a project we need to support. When you put market rate housing into a place like this, that's more people walking around, more people that want services, more people that want good restaurants and places to go. It just increases the economic activity in this neighborhood, in the city. I love the idea of the public market, how unique and special that is, and it's already started virtually here at the Crompton, and now will extend right into Kelley Square. Phenomenal, a unique asset for this community, and Allen said it's going to be better than the Boston market. I'll hold you to that. So I just want to say thank you for all that you're doing here. As the governor often says, when you find something that's working, keep doing more of it. This whole collection of people and plans and envisioning is an asset in itself, and we're very happy to partner with you with our state programs, Mass Development making a commitment, the HDIP tax credits coming into this project make a difference, and we're very happy to play a special part of it. And continued success to you. There is more to come in this neighborhood. We are all very excited about the renaissance that Worcester is experiencing. But stretching beyond downtown into these neighborhoods is really important to us. And I think there is more to come, and we will just stay tuned on that regard. Thank you all very much, and I would now like to turn it back over to Allen.
Thank you, Ken. Quickly, since we've been talking about markets, I want to point to Edith Murdane, who is the director of the Worcester Public Market. If anybody wants to be a tenant, has always dreamed of cooking up food within the context of a public market, talk to her. Next, we come to the city. I want to say we're very proud. In the district, we're very proud of ourselves, and we take credit for everything ourselves, and we're very fond of saying we did this all without the city. Technically, it is not true. There are little things like streetscape, like $10.1 million, which, as I recall, that the city came to us on. I remember it very distinctly. They said, well, we know you want to do a canal down Harding Street, but we want to help you by improving Green Street and Water Street and Millbury Street, and they brought in the streetscape money. Fantastic. So as it turns out, the city has been a help. Another thing I simply want to mention that is never on anybody's radar is this lot was sitting here before I recognized it, and the owner of it, the only development project that he conceived of with his grand vision was to put a gas station right here. If you can imagine, that's not a real inspiring vision of urban vitality. And it was the city that said no. You know, it was probably within his rights to do a gas station, but the city and the people in the development office, all these people that we love to complain about, in their wisdom said, no, that's not our vision of the district. That's not the way we want to go. It's something that we should appreciate. You know, this vision of urban vitality really has to infuse all of city government in order to come true. And that was a very unspoken and passive way where they helped us out. Without further ado, I would like to introduce a man that everybody knows, the statesman-like city manager of the city of Worcester, Ed Augustus, who has big plans.
Thanks, Ellen. First and foremost, I do want to thank the Lieutenant Governor and Secretary Ash. They're great partners with the city of Worcester. Every announcement we have, they're part of it because the state is a partner with the city on making the renaissance that we all talk about happen here in the city of Worcester. So without their partnership and support, things wouldn't be going in the direction that they're going. And so I want to just publicly thank both of them. It doesn't hurt that we named the street that Allen lives on after Jay Ash, just to get a little in. We'll do anything. We're shameless. I also want to say thank you to Allen and to all of the folks who were pioneers, who were believers before anybody else was a believer in the Canal District, had the vision, came here, put their blood, sweat, tears, and money into creating that vision. They lived it day in and day out. When a lot of people poo-pooed it, a lot of people didn't think it would work, a lot of people gave them 100 reasons why they shouldn't be dreaming the dreams they were dreaming, and yet they believed. And they hung in there, and now everyone's a believer. And so I want to just say thank you to all of the pioneers, all of the people who took the risks early on that really have turned the Canal District into a canal district. And this project really is taking us to the next level. As was mentioned, it's adding density by having 48 units of housing, and it's adding an amenity to this city and to the foodie scene and culture that is really thriving here in the city with the public marketplace. But it's a place that people are going to come in and out many times during the week, visiting, buying their groceries, getting ready for dinner, getting ready for those special occasions, and coming back again and again. It's not every once in a while that you're going to be coming and visiting this market. It's a place that you're going to be coming multiple times a week. And that is going to support all of the other businesses, all of the other activities here in the Canal District and in the greater downtown area. And we are committed as a city to implementing policies. We're certainly helping out with some tax relief to help this project work in partnership with the state, whether it be the public infrastructure, whether it be our new Complete Streets plan that is going to incentivize people walking and making connections between Shrewsbury Street and the Canal District and downtown and other neighborhoods within the city. We don't want people to feel like you have to get in your car and go a couple blocks. We want it to be a fun, engaging, interactive experience when you walk from here to downtown to Shrewsbury Street. And each one of these projects is helping make that a reality. It's connecting the dots, filling in those previously empty spaces in our core city. So I'm just so excited to be here. I'm so appreciative of Allen and Ray and all of the people that have worked with them, shepherding this from an idea to now a groundbreaking and not too distant future, a ribbon cutting. So as the Lieutenant Governor said, we're working hard to bring you more neighbors and more energy and more feet on the street and more activity in the Canal District. And thank you for your pioneering leadership on this effort. Congratulations.
Thank you, Ed. More people keep coming in, and I want to point out Harry Kokinas, head of Table Talk Pies, America's favorite pie. Who could have a better partner in the neighborhood? Very quickly, because I'm afraid he's going to be looked over as Roy Angel with Mass Development, because they've been incredibly helpful to us. Next individual, I think you all know, the head of Mass Economic Development, went to Clark University, played basketball. When I first met him here, I happened to like him. He ran into an old basketball crony from Clark. Well, it cannot hurt the cause of Central Mass if the head of economic development has coffee here and can run into old cronies right on Green Street. the former mayor of Chelsea and currently head of economic development, Jay Ash.
Thanks, Alan. It's great to be with you all. The problem being the third speaker is that the Lieutenant Governor gave my passion. Ed Augustus gave my joke. I had an Ash Street joke all lined up. I have a confession to make here in Worcester. I was leaving Chelsea to start my pilgrimage in Worcester at Clark University. Loaded up the van, got on the road, and drove by Ash Street in Chelsea. Boy, that sign looked awful nice. I bet I have a place in my dorm room for that sign. So off came the sign in Chelsea as I drove to Worcester. I happened to be driving by Ash Street in Worcester. I said, boy, it could use a friend, but I never did it, Ed. I never did it. So anyway, it's great to be with all of you. Lieutenant Governor talks about how she asked, I don't remember it as an ask to go see Allen Fletcher. I remember it as a told. John LeBeau, where's John? John knows that too, right? So John is looking at funding for this project now. It was so nice to meet with Allen and talk with him about what his vision is. Frankly, learned an awful lot in the conversation and are talking to others around the state about what the possibilities are. You see, when we talk to people about the revitalization of a commercial district, we talk about market rate housing and we talk about restaurants. You're bringing both together here. As I was driving around with my classmates, I had my reunion this weekend, and I was driving around with my classmates and looking around Worcester. I brought them by here and I said, 5 years from now when we have our next reunion, we'll be able to go into a public market here, enjoy 30 or 40 vendors, enjoy the camaraderie, the fellowship of being around people, enjoy the revitalization that is taken forward in Green Street, and get to look at some great market rate housing above us, 48 units above us. We're very excited about this project, so much so that the Lieutenant Governor has been pushing us ever bit forward to find more and more funding to support this project from different places. So from my shop, Janelle Chan is here from DHCD. We have $2 million in Housing Development Incentive Program money into the market rate housing. That wouldn't have been possible without the legislative delegation from Worcester working with us to get a bill passed in 2016 that allowed us to expand our HDIP program. So HDIP allows us to invest in market rate housing in gateway cities. Prior to our work in 2016, only 60 units had been done. Since that time, 880 units have been done, and we have another 900 units, including this project, in the pipeline. So we're very grateful for our partners on the legislative end from the City of Worcester for recognizing the importance of that programming and helping us push that forward. I'm also here wearing my hat as the chair of the Mass Development Board. There are Mass Development representatives throughout the crowd here. Mass Development is providing a $1.8 million loan to the project, as well as a loan guarantee to County Bank, who we're very happy to partner with. Another outcome of the 2016 Economic Development Bill was a MassWorks program, which we use to create infrastructure to support private investment around the entire state. And the Lieutenant Governor tells me that I'll be getting an application that I have to put on the top of the list to help support this project even further. And I know John LeBeau is looking at grants to help the public market happen. A lot of sources, a lot of investment that we're making in this $21 million project, but there's a reason for it. The reason for it is that Allen's had a vision, and that vision is fit into the city's vision, and that city vision is making a difference here in Worcester. I talk about the resurgence of Worcester all the time. I get to go around the entire state and talk about places that are happening, and the place that I talk an awful lot about is this place right here. Not only in this parcel, but in parcels all around the city. Again, Ed, as I was driving around with my classmates and pointing out all the different developments that were happening, they were so impressed, and I was very proud to be able to talk to them about that. I would encourage you to continue to do what you do, as the Lieutenant Governor says, our motto, do more of what works, less of what doesn't. You're doing an awful lot of what works here, and this is our second major announcement this month in Worcester. And the month's not over yet, so let's see what happens from there. So, Alan, Ray, congratulations on your success, and we look forward to being here for the ribbon cutting real soon.
Next, we have the indispensable part of the most indispensable part of the project, which is the financing. If anybody was familiar, we had a bank all lined up, and it went through to the 11th hour. We got all the way up to the altar, and they changed the terms, and the things fell apart. And then, wonderfully, we got together with Country Bank. I can remember our first meeting with them. They got it. They got it from the standpoint of municipal enthusiasm. They understood what a project like this means to the neighborhood and to quality of life in Worcester. So it was a great pleasure. I believe that their local banker, Jess McGarry, had a lot to do with it when it crossed their the desk, or whatever the term is. But I would